Welcome to your RE lesson, guys. As you know, we're going to continue looking at Sikhism, and today, or this week, we're going to be looking at who and where. So in this lesson, okay, you're going to learn who founded Sikhism and where. So, who founded Sikhism and where? Here we've got a timeline, okay, of the major religions and when they were founded. So we've got Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, we go on to Christianity. Well, these obviously were BC, before Christ, before Christianity, Islam, and then Sikhism. So in terms of these major religions, it's fairly new, even though obviously 1469 is very long ago. In terms of the main religions, it's a fairly new religion. And it was founded by Guru Nanak in the 15th century in India. So here we've got a map of India. Guru Nanak was the first Sikh guru. He came from a small town called Talawandi in India, about 40 miles from Lahore, which is now in Pakistan, and it was 500 years ago. Sikh traditions teach that his birth and early years were marked with many events that showed he was special. So, his childhood. Guru Nanak was born into a merchant Hindu family from the Vedic, well, I'm not sure how to say that bit, caste. So caste is almost like a family sect. He grew up in a village where both Hindus and Muslims lived. He was sent to a village school to learn the Sanskrit language, an older language than the current one spoken in India, maths, and study the Vedas, sacred Hindu texts, just like the Bible is the Christianity sacred text. He then attended a local madrasa, which is an Arabic word for an educational institution, so a school, college, where he learnt Persian and Arabic, as well as reading Islamic literature of the time. Even at an early age, he was inquisitive about the meaning of life and what God meant to him. So, growing up, as he grew up and became a man, he thought about God all the time. People thought he was just a dreamer and was not interested in working. So they probably said some things, he was lazy and things like that. One day, his father gave him 20 rupees as a currency and told him to go to the city, buy something and then resell it to make a profit. When he arrived in the city, he saw some monks who looked pale and ill. They told Nanak they had not eaten for 3 days. Nanak bought food for the monks and took it back to them. When his father found out, he was very angry. But Nanak told him that feeding the hungry was a better way to spend the money. Nanak's sister could see how angry her father was and asked if Nanak could live with her and her husband instead. Nanak's father agreed. So that gives us an insight to actually how angry he was. He was so angry he'd rather his son didn't live with him anymore. So, Nanak the Shopkeeper. Nanak's first job was a shopkeeper at Sultanpur. I have to say, guys, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing all these things right. He would often explain his ideas about how to love and follow God to people who gathered in the village. Some began to call him a guru, which means teacher. One morning, when Nanak was 28 years old, he got up before dawn and went to the river to bathe and say his prayers. But he disappeared, and all that was left were his clothes. The villagers searched everywhere for him, but could not find him and thought he had died. 3 days later, Nanak suddenly appeared and remained silent for a whole day. When he spoke, he said that he had been with God and had been told to tell the people how they could also become closer to God. He said that all people were equal in God's eyes. There is only God's path, and I shall follow God's path. From that point onwards, Nanak's life changed. He treated Hindus and Muslims the same, but didn't belong to or follow either religion. So it's worth mentioning before that, Hindus and Muslims were treated really differently. Okay, and there were the caste system meant that different people were treated differently. Okay, so it was a kind of time of equality and unfairness. So Guru Nanak travelled around different parts of India, learning about and teaching God's message. The people who listened to him were known as Sikhs, a word which means learner. Nanak became known as Guru Nanak, God's teacher. Guru Nanak spent 20 years making 4 long journeys and sharing his messages. He finally settled in the village of Kartarpur on the banks of the river Ravi, pictured below, where people would gather and pray together. In the evening, everyone would cook and eat together, no matter if they were rich or poor. So, further example of him taking that message that he got from God. One day, near the end of his life, Guru Nanak called a disciple to him, whose name was Lana. So a disciple is someone who follows somebody else. Just like in the religion of Christianity, Jesus had disciples, followers. He placed 5 coins and a coconut in front of him. These were a symbol of respect. Guru Nanak said, "From today, you are the Guru of the Sikhs, and I name you Angad, meaning part of my body." The people were amazed, and all the followers were told to follow him now. Days later, Guru Nanak died and his body was covered with a sheet. After his death, the Hindu and Muslim people argued about who should arrange the funeral service. The Hindus wanted him cremated, as was their custom, but the Muslims wanted him buried, as was their custom. A wise man appeared and told them to look under the sheet. They did as he said and discovered there was no body, just a few flowers. They realised that Nanak himself was telling them not to argue. The flowers and the sheet were split into 2 halves, so the Hindus cremated their half, whilst the Muslims buried theirs. Okay, so ignore that a little bit. Your job now, your task, is to create a cartoon strip or a storyboard showing the life of Guru Nanak. Obviously, he's the founder of the religion of Sikhism. So I'm looking for perhaps 6 boxes with pictures and with some text to show the life of Guru Nanak. Hope you get on well. Remember to include the important details as shown in this video, so you can watch the video as many times as you need. Good luck!